Hi, and welcome to this course. It's amazing to have you on board, and we're super excited to start this journey together with you. Now, my name is Maximilian Schwarzmuller, and I will be one of your two instructors in this. In 100 days, in question first, what is web development actually?
Now, when it comes to the code we have to write as a web developer, and when it comes to the programming languages we should use for this, it's worth taking another look at these browser instructions. Because these instructions are in the end
that is allowed in C++ and interfaces. So Java doesn't have multiple inheritance. People say it is achieved using interfaces. So actually what is the meaning? I'll explain. So that is the very important topic. And next, what should be the syntax and what is allowed and not allowed, that I'll be covering in this. The topic is interfaces. This is the very important topic in Java. So in this video, I'll be covering these topics. First, I'll explain what are interfaces. Then comparison between multiple inheritance that is allowed in C++ and interfaces. So Java doesn't have multiple inheritance. People say it is achieved using interfaces. So actually what is the meaning? I'll explain. So that is the very important topic. And next, what should be the syntax and what is allowed and not allowed, that I'll be covering in this.
जावा में मल्टीपल इनहेरिटेंस नहीं होता जैसे कि सी प्लस प्लस में होता है और जावा मल्टीपल इनहेरिटेंस अचीव करता है इंटरफेसेस को यूज करके सो द फर्स्ट पॉइंट इज मल्टीपल इनहेरिटेंस
So conceptually, I'll be discussing the topic here. Then syntactically and the rules, I'll discuss. So let us start with interface. What is interface? Now we will learn about interface. I have an example for interface. So before starting that, let me revise a few points we have learned in the previous videos. So first thing is inheritance. I have explained you that already one class is there and another class can be written extending from that class, so it will borrow all the features. So inheritance for borrowing. This one thing we learn. So a class can extend from existing class, right? Subclass and superclass, this we have studied. Then second thing we studied is abstract classes. So abstract class, we have learned that if a class is having one or more abstract methods, then definitely it's an abstract class. So the purpose of abstract class is to achieve polymorphism as well as to inherit. So abstract class can provide some features for subclasses as well as it is useful for polymorphism. So in the previous videos, I have discussed about polymorphism, right? So now interface. See, interface is completely used for achieving polymorphism. It doesn't have anything to give to the subclasses. So if you want to achieve only polymorphism, you don't want to borrow anything, then we use interfaces. I'll explain you interface in comparison with abstract classes, because abstract classes can also be used for achieving polymorphism. So we have learned that if a class is having one or more abstract methods, then definitely it's an abstract class. So the purpose of abstract class is to achieve polymorphism as well as to inherit. So abstract class can provide some features for subclasses as well as it is useful for polymorphism. So in the previous videos I have discussed about polymorphism, right? So now interface. See, interface is completely used for achieving polymorphism. It doesn't have anything to give to the subclasses. So if you want to achieve only polymorphism, you don't want to borrow anything, then we use interfaces. I'll explain you interface in comparison with abstract classes, because abstract classes can also be used for achieving polymorphism. So here I have an example. So with this you can easily understand interfaces and also you can remember it. So watch it. I have an abstract class, name is test1, and it is having abstract public
Polymorphism. Polymorphism means multiple form. Inheritance is basically inheriting all the features from the parent class that will be available in the sub, and it will be available in the subclass. तो abstract class polymorphism भी achieve करने के लिए use कर सकते हैं और inheritance के लिए भी use कर सकते हैं, but interface किस लिए use करते हैं? Interface basically polymorphism के लिए ही use करते हैं. हम interface से कुछ इंटरफेस से कुछ हम इनहेरिट नहीं करते हैं. ओके.
void method1 and abstract public void method2. So this abstract class is having just two things, that is method1 and method2, and both are abstract methods. Both are abstract. So there are no concrete methods at all in this abstract class. Then I have another class test2 that extends from test1. So it is borrowing the features of this class. So what is there to borrow? It doesn't have anything to give. It is having all abstract methods. So when it inherit, this class test2 must override all those methods. Otherwise, this will also become abstract. Yes, it is overriding them. So now this test2 become concrete class and test1 remains a abstract class. So this abstract class doesn't have anything to share with the subclass. It forces the subclasses to override all its methods. So the purpose of that abstract class is only to achieve polymorphism. So when you have such an abstract class, instead of writing a class, we should write interface. So that's it. So interface can be called as a abstract class with all abstract methods. So let us see. I have converted this into an interface. So instead of writing abstract class, I wrote interface. Test1, test1. And it is having abstract public void method1, method2. So I just wrote void method1, void method2, because all the methods are by default abstract. You don't have to write. By default, they are abstract as well as they are public. So abstract and public, I don't have to write. So this is an interface. Now, here I wrote a class test2. So here also class test2. But the difference you see, this class was extending from test1, but here implements test1. So classes are extended, but interfaces are implemented. So this is a very clever thing Java has done. So how it is clever, you will understand when I conceptually discuss the topic. That is multiple inheritance versus interfaces. So in that topic, you will get the clear idea how Java has cleverly introduced interfaces. So interfaces are implemented. So now I have a class which is having both the methods. That's it. So interface is a abstract class with all abstract methods. So the purpose of interface is to achieve polymorphism, right? Then the last point here I have to tell you. See, already we learned that this is a superclass reference. test 1t, test 1. This is a superclass reference. New test 2, the object of subclass. Can you have a superclass reference and object of subclass? Yes, you can
Obviously, we
have
can
it.
have.
Then what about if you have an interface? So for interface also, you can have a reference of that interface, an object of a class which is implementing an interface. So it will be more like abstract class only, but we are not saying class, we are saying interface, and we are making it implement, right? And we have learned that this is how we achieve polymorphism. So yes, using interface we can achieve polymorphism. Then one last thing I have to tell you, that whenever you say extend in Java, a class can extend from only one class. But when a class is implementing an interface, it can implement multiple
Multiple.
interfaces, more than one interfaces. So this is sufficient. This was just an introduction. Now, first of all, you understand it conceptually, then I have an example, then a demonstration, many things are there. So next we will learn about multiple inheritance versus interface.
अच्छा थोड़ा side. Nice. Mhm. इंटरफेस का रेफरेंस अलाउड है, मल्टीपल इंटरफेसेस हम इम्प्लीमेंट भी कर सकते हैं। तो क्या बोला है, इनहेरिटेंस इज यूज फॉर बोरोइंग मेथड, like if I'm inheriting from, like if I'm extending my class with any other class, so basically with that any other class I'm borrowing all the methods of any other class to in my class. Abstract is used for achieving polymorphism as well as inheritance. Inheritance is completely used for achieving polymorphism. Polymorphism means multiple form, more one or more man can have multiple forms, like a man is a dad to a child, a man is husband to a wife, a man is working in a company, he's a worker, basically this one. Interface can be called as abstract class with all the abstract methods. All methods are default, abstract classes are extended, but interfaces are implemented. In interface, we can have reference of interface and the object of the class which is implemented. In a Java class can extend only from one class, but if a class is implementing an interface, then it can implement from multiple interface. Yeah, I know. Inheritance is used for borrowing methods. Abstract is used for achieving polymorphism. Achieving polymorphism as well as inheritance. Abstract is used for achieving. Inheritance is completely used for achieving polymorphism. Inheritance is used completely is completely polymorphism. Interface can be called as abstract class with all abstract methods. Interface can be called as abstract class with all the abstract methods. तो इंटरफेस बेसिकली इंटरफेस में मेथड्स लिखे नहीं होते, तो हम उनको मेथड्स लिखे नहीं होते, उनकी बस बॉडी नहीं, उनकी बस डेफिनेशन होती है। आजा। हम्म। अरे यार Abstract method. हम्म, ये वर्चुअल कैम क्या है? अब 60 FPS पे क्या हुआ है इससे पता नहीं चला मुझे. इंटरफेस कैन बी कॉल्ड एज एब्स्ट्रैक्ट क्लास विथ ऑल द एब्स्ट्रैक्ट मेथड, क्योंकि बॉडी तो होती नहीं है, बस डेफिनेशन होता है. All the methods are default abstract. Classes are extended, but interfaces are implemented. In interface, we can have reference of interface and the object of the class. Reference of interface and the object of which is implemented. In Java, a class can extend from one class, but only if a class is in the class interface and in, in uh, Java, a class can extend from one only, but if a class is implemented, that a class can implement multiple interfaces.
and it is having abstract public void method 1 and abstract public void method 2. So this I will give the demonstration for interfaces here. Whatever I have explained you on whiteboard, I will write down the code here and show you. So already I have a project here. First of all, I will define a interface. Interface name, I will call it as test. Now this is empty interface. Inside this, I will define a method void method1. This is method 1 and this is abstract without any body. Then second method method 2 and this is also without any body. So this is perfect. There is no error in the program. You can see nothing is highlighted in red color. So there is no error. So this is the definition of a interface test. Now I will go to main method. Inside this, I will try to create a reference of test. Is it allowed? Yes, we can have references of interfaces. Can we create an object of a interface? No, interfaces will have all abstract method. Everything is abstract. So you cannot create the object of an interface. So this is in red color. So the error message says that test is abstract, cannot be instantiated. So I will remove this one. Now below this interface, I will write one class. Class name, I will take it as my, and I will try to extend test. Not allowed. Not allowed because interfaces are implemented. They are not extended. Let us see what is the error it is saying. No interface expected here. Means it is saying that interface should not be given here. Class should be given here. So instead of saying
खुला हुआ है अरे दादा हुई हुई मैं क्या देख रहा था
interface should not be extended. It is saying that when you said extends, this should be a class. This should not be an interface. Okay, I will change this one. Instead of extends, I will say implements. So my class implements test interface. There is an error. What is the error? I will take the cursor there. My is not abstract, does not override abstract method2 in the test. So even for method1 also it's the same thing. So it is saying that the class has become abstract. So we learn that whenever a class is implementing an interface, then it will become abstract unless and until you override all the methods of an interface.
A class will become if it is some concrete again a class should override all the methods of the interfaces.
If you want this class to remain as abstract, then you must write abstract here. Now there is no error. So class has become abstract. If I write abstract here, it's not an error. I will remove this because I am going to implement those methods. So let us implement those methods. Public void method1, and inside this I will just print a message that is method1 of my class, right? So I give a message method1 of class my. Similarly, I will override one more method, that is public void method2. So I wrote a method which is displaying method2 of class my. I will write one more extra method here, public void method3, and inside this I will display a message that is method3 of class my. So apart from overriding these two methods of our interface, I have written one more method. Now, so till here there is no error, everything is perfect. Let us go to main method. Inside main method, already I have a reference of test. So to this I will assign an object of class my. Is it allowed? Yes. A reference of an interface can hold the object of a class which is implementing that interface. See, my is implementing test interface, so a reference of test can hold the object of my. So test is just like a parent class or superclass for my. Though it is not a class, it's an interface, but it is acting just like a superclass. Now using t, what are the methods I can call? If I press t.m, then you can see only two methods, only those methods which are present in that interface. So I will call method1 as well as t.method2, because this interface doesn't know about other method, that is method3. It is defined only inside class my. Interface doesn't know about this. But when I call these methods, whose methods will be called? The methods will be called based upon an object. So yes, the methods of class my will be called. These two methods will be called. If I run and show you, see, method1 of class my, method2 of class my. And I cannot call method3. Even if I type method3, it is an error. I can do this if the reference is of type my. Now it is not an error. When it is of type test, then it is an error. I cannot use a method3. Now one more thing. See, by assigning an object of class my and calling this overrided method, we are achieving dynamic method dispatch. So it means we are achieving runtime polymorphism. Yes. So interfaces are useful for achieving runtime polymorphism. Interfaces are meant only for overriding. So definitely they are meant for achieving runtime polymorphism.
Oh, interfaces meant
Only and for dynamic method dispatch. So that's all in this video. We have seen the demo of interfaces. So you try this once, then later we will see some example programs.
मेरी अदाएं तीर है, मेरी अदाएं तीर है, मेरे यार निशाना तुम। मेरी अदाएं तीर है, मेरे यार निशाना तुम।
right? So when you use a reference to this phone, you can just call methods of music player, these methods. So that's all about the example. So in the next video, you will find the demonstration of all these. So don't miss the video on the demonstration, right? I may be taking other examples also because already I have explained this. So I'll leave the demo on this one and I'll take some more examples and explain you.
अरे चाचा, साइड तो हटो। हाँ, तो बेसिकली ये बोल रहे हैं कि मेरे पास एक क्लास है, फोन फोन का क्लास है जिसमें मेथड्स हैं, जिसमें इसके मेथड्स है, फोन के मेथड है, कॉल मेथड है और एसएमएस मेथड है। मेरे पास दो इंटरफेस है। इंटरफेस कैमरा है जिसमें एब्स्ट्रैक्ट मेथड है क्लिक, और एक एब्स्ट्रैक्ट मेथड है रिकॉर्ड, दोनों पब्लिक है। इंटरफेस के सारे मेथड एब्स्ट्रैक्ट और पब्लिक होता है। सेम इंटरफेस है हमारे पास म्यूजिक प्लेयर जिसमें एब्स्ट्रैक्ट पब्लिक मेथड है प्ले पॉज स्टॉप। अब मेरे पास एक कोई नया क्लास है स्मार्टफोन। बेसिकली स्मार्टफोन क्या कर रहा है, वो फोन को एक्सटेंड कर रहा है। स्मार्टफोन समझो, स्मार्टफोन फोन को एक्सटेंड कर रहा है। तो अगर वो फोन को एक्सटेंड कर रहा है तो इसके सारे मेथड्स को वो इनहेरिट कर रहा है। मेथड्स लाइक void कॉल और void एसएमएस, इसको वो इनहेरिट कर रहा है। लाइक you can make a call from phone and send SMS from phone, and if a smartphone which is inheriting from phone, it can also send SMS and receive calls, or we can have outgoing calls too. Now it is implementing camera interface and the music player interface, so it must override all the methods of these interfaces. Now if it is overriding, then this is our again become concrete classes. Now अगर मेरे पास स्मार्टफोन है, स्मार्टफोन का क्लास है, तो स्मार्टफोन का रेफरेंस यूज करके हम स्मार्टफोन का ऑब्जेक्ट बना सकते हैं। ओके, और अगर स्मार्टफोन का रेफरेंस है, स्मार्टफोन का ऑब्जेक्ट है, तो स्मार्टफोन के सारे मेथड को हम कॉल कर सकते हैं। लेकिन अगर हम फोन का रेफरेंस यूज करते हैं, बात को समझो, स्मार्टफोन का रेफरेंस यूज किया स्मार्टफोन का ऑब्जेक्ट को स्टोर करने के लिए, रेफरेंस में सारे मेथड्स अलाउड हैं, तो हम ऑब्जेक्ट से सारे मेथड को कॉल कर सकते हैं। लेकिन हम जब फोन का रेफरेंस यूज करने लगेंगे, फोन में तो दो ही मेथड है, कॉल के और एसएमएस के, तो हम यही दो मेथड को कॉल कर सकते हैं। Same goes for camera as well. We have the reference of camera interface which is holding the object of smartphone. We can only use click and the record method. And same for music player. We have here the reference of music player which is holding the object of smartphone. So we can only play music. Like we can play, we can pause, we can stop. That's it. Thanks, Chacha.